Hello guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Maku.
Kobayashi.
Another episode from Mob. Go ahead and pop it up for us, Kobayashi.
So in this episode, it's very emotional. We get to see Mob just fighting himself and his brother Ritsu trying to get Mob back together, or in this case, Shiego back together.
Yeah, so there was a lot going on during this episode. So where we left off last time, the prisoner just ended up escaping. The main antagonist from the last season, he ended up trying to fight Mob, and the antagonist, he looked at the two supermarket, the people who worked at the supermarket, and he was like, oh, you guys are making an honest living now. And so then he carried on, started squabbling with Mob. Well, it wasn't more like a squabbling, it was more like a beatdown, because as I predicted last time, he ended up just beating the living pulp out of him. He just ended up squandering him like into a pulp.
And then his son comes, he comes, and it's basically a father-son versus Mob. But like I said, the father-son, they actually do a good combo, but Mob just sucks all the energy, or just like absorbs it, basically nullifying it, and the attack was kind of useless.
They go about it in many different ways. They actually think about, like, okay, so maybe if we just drag this fight out, hopefully he runs out of stamina and we can just defeat him like that. Nope, not even close. They just ended up getting,
They realize, like, oh yeah, Mob is way too powerful, so we might as well just flee. Because the dad actually wanted to like sacrifice himself, but then it shows like a quick little flashback. Like he looks back at his son looks worried, and he imagines like his wife next to him. He's like, I'm not gonna do the same mistake again. So him and his son just flee. And then it cuts to Ritsu, Mob's brother, at the school, and he could just feel Mob's energy throughout the town. So he quickly leaves his student council meeting, starts running down the street, and he notices, like, oh god, he probably, like, the monster inside of him, or like his true, I want to say true, but like the psychic side of him got released.
Yeah, it was a more malicious side of him ended up just releasing. And Ritsu ended up seeing that. Keep in mind, throughout this entire scene while he was fighting, he had this bouquet of flowers in his hand, which is going to be very important because Ritsu, well, he wanted to help Mob out, but it wasn't. As you know, he's fairly new to the psychic power that he has. So Mob was just beating, defeating his brother. And there was a point where you just see this meter pop up, but everyone was assuming, well, a lot of people were actually assuming that it was for Mob, but it actually was for Ritsu. So that meter ended up hitting his maximum, and then Ritsu ended up just exploding.
Yeah, so the meter was 100% Ritsu, which is pretty cool. And then also along the way, while he's trying to find Mob before this whole encounter with his brother, he finds Hanazawa like butt booty naked, and it was a funny scene, but at the same time I felt bad because like he's just like
yeah,
he's just naked and then just bald.
Yeah.
But Ritsu, very kind, put a jacket over him, put him on top of a roof. So the Body Improvement Club actually encounters Mob, and they're just saying, wow, Mob, you're actually really strong. We didn't know this side of you, or they did know, but like this is still amazing how he tries to live a normal life even though he has this great power. But since they're like, I want to say, they're basically like his senpai or whatever, so they feel responsibility looking over him. So they're trying to get him back to normal, but obviously Mob just outpowers them.
Yeah, through a gust of wind, ended up sending them flying. One of them in particular actually ended up staying there for a little bit. Yeah, he actually got a hold of Mob's hand, and
he tried to talk sense into him, but it didn't work at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, during his encounter with his brother, Shiego was trying to get back, like trying to take control of his body again. So he actually encounters like the other part of him, and then the other part of him are saying, wait, who are you? He's like, oh, I'm Shiego Kageyama. He's like, no, I'm Shiego Kageyama. And they're just bickering back and forth. But the psychic part of him told him, no, you're not Shiego, you're Mob. And
And then a quick beforehand, even before this, it was actually where Mob was fighting his brother, Urshiego. Ritsu ended up trying. Well, he was destroying. The first thing he was aiming at was the flowers, because he knew that was this was probably the cause for him to explode in this manner, even though he got hit by a car. So he ended up destroying the flowers, and then that's when Mob said this. He ended up saying, no, don't do that, or stop, essentially, right? Because Mob still wanted to go there, but his strong feelings end up overpowering him, and that's what made him
I thought he said stop to the person, because I believe he said stop for like the other part of him, because since Ritsu destroyed the flowers, Mob was telling stop to the person controlling him, saying like, stop, don't like hurt my brother, or something like that.
Oh, I took it differently, because it was panning more to the fact that it was the bouquet of flowers. And then
I feel like too, the reason why he wanted to destroy the flowers, because the reason why he was at that point, or where he's uncontrolled, because he got hit by a car. So it was a great shock. So Ritsu realized, he's like, oh, I need to cause another great shock. So destroying the flowers, is creating great shock to him.
Yeah, and it was effective, right? Because he was doing everything to protect that bouquet of flowers. He set a whole barrier on just that bouquet. And then that's when it pans out to what Kobayashi was talking about, where it was two separate entities inside of Mob's mind.
But after this battle, Mob is the victor, obviously. So he causes a great tornado in the city. This is a big tornado, and in the center of it is just Mob. And we get to see Serizawa and Reigen. They're just running towards the tornado, trying to encounter Mob, or trying to stop Mob, trying to get him back to his normal self. So that's most likely to be in the next episodes. Reigen try to get him back.
Yeah, it was and also the news reporters actually got hand of this, and they were realizing it was probably psychic people that were creating this, and then that's where it panned out to a bunch of like other psychics, to that one guy in the woods, the yokai from the beginning of the episode, and then a few other guys that you guys might remember throughout the story.
Yes.
But either way, guys, you guys go ahead and let us know what you think about this episode. If there's any anime you would like us to talk about, please let us know. My name is Maku.
Kobayashi.
And thank you.